Hey internet, it's Jessica and welcome back to Chess of Blades, where we're continuing where we left off. Unfortunately, Arden is injured after the fight with the assassin. That assassin was horrible, honestly. But now, we're gonna see if maybe, we can find out what happened between Rivian and Arden, and, maybe they could be together. That'd be nice. Anyway, let's continue. The first place I head for is my room, and after pulling Arden inside, I gently push him down onto the bed with a sigh. Take off your shirt, but throw it on the floor. And don't bleed on my sheets. Well, that's nice, Rivian. He's dying. Arden chuckles and complies while I search through the room's drawers and cloths for something to use as bandages. I grab the small basin of water that the servants must have refilled while I was out. Yeesh. I settle down on the edge of the bed and eye the nasty-looking cut on Arden's abdomen, drenching in the cloth and water before starting to clean and bandage the wound.
Cold. Your hands are so warm.
Oh my god. Would you shut up? You can't be in that much of a pain if you're joking around. Grabbing one of the rags, I rip it into strips and then wind them down around Arden's chest, applying pressure to the cut. Bloody fool, getting himself hurt like this.
Hey, Riv.
Oh, poor Arden! Arden's voice sounds a little more solemn, and I glance up from my work to see him gazing at me from the pillows, his eyes heavily lidded.
I'll do better next time. Keep safe.
He wants to get revenge for Rivian because that's his idea of, hey, I love you, I'm gonna, kill everyone who hurts you. Even though, Arden, I'm sure you're capable, but I'm pretty sure that's not what Rivian is looking for. What do you mean, do better? You saved me from getting a knife in my skull. I think that's plenty. He shakes his head, frowning, lips pressed together in an unsatisfied way.
It was too close. He wasn't skilled with throwing weapons. Otherwise,
As he trails off, I finish tying a makeshift bandage around his wound. Hopefully that'll hold for now. It wasn't too deep, thankfully. Stop spouting nonsense. If it had been anyone else, I doubt they could have reacted as fast. Lucky me, I have royal guardsmen to keep me safe. As his hand drips upward, palm brushing against my cheek. I feel his fingers tremble ever so slightly. I lean slightly into his touch, closing my eyes for a moment. I never doubted your abilities, Arden. I suppose I just wasn't sure how much you wanted to help me. Liking someone isn't cause to risk your life for them, and, well, selfish as I am, I didn't think you really felt that strongly. The image of an inhuman passion in Arden's eyes reflected in the back of my mind, and I tense a little.
We promised each other, didn't we? 4 years ago.
Oh my god. His soft voice comes as his thumb traces lightly, adoringly over my cheek. Well, when you left without telling me, I thought that promise was still null, and it hurt to try to keep believing in it. Ooh, so did he abandon him? Or maybe he just left but didn't tell him? Arden, why would you not tell him? His fingers curled softly against his skin, and I stay there for a moment longer, meeting his guilty, affectionate gaze. Part of me wants to reassure him, but at the moment, I'm hardly sure of anything myself. Finally, I slowly pull away and rise up from the bed, pulling the covers over Arden's lower half and stretching my arms. You might as well rest here. I'll be over by the fire, going through this stupid book again. I pick up the tome Linnaeus gave me from the foot of the bed, walking around and settling back down in the chair I fell asleep in earlier. I can feel Arden's gaze following me, but eventually I hear him shift slightly and nestle into the bedsheets. He's probably having weird thoughts, like, this pillow smells like Riv, or something equally repulsive. I sigh by myself and start flipping through the book's pages again, listening for the sound of Arden's rhythmic breathing. Eventually, I drop back off into a doze, curled up in the chair. As my consciousness drifts off, I see something strange in my mind's eye. A large wound in the assassin's chest. What kind of weapon would cause something like that, I wonder? Maybe the guards will figure it out tomorrow. I feel like they won't. Until then, hopefully nothing else happens. Hopefully. And then something happens. Hands suddenly shake my shoulders. What the fuck?
Riv, wake up.
My eyelids struggle to open, my head tilts up, and the first thing I see is Arden's face.
Silas knocked on the door a moment ago, while you were still asleep. He said there was something we needed to go see.
Ugh, but it's so early.
Riv, come on.
A pair of arms curl beneath my own and lift me out of the chair. I stumble a bit, blinking and glance around the window. The sun's already risen. It has to be past breakfast time.
Hurry! It's about Celeste.
Oh god, what now? I follow Arden to the door and out the hallway, suddenly feeling completely awake. He jogs down the hall, heading in the direction of Linnaeus' room. Arden's silence makes me think it's something serious.
Hello? It's Arden and Rivian.
Arden knocks on the door, calling out, and opens a moment later.
Ah.
Oh dear. Someone dead again? The moment Linnaeus allows us to enter, I can sense something is wrong. There are several guards standing around the room, and... Celeste? My eyes widen when I realize she's sitting on the chair surrounded by guards like a prisoner.
Rivian.
What? Her eyes abruptly widen when she sees me.
I assume you haven't heard? Miss Celeste was found this morning in her room, lying unconscious next to a bloody sword.
What?
When the wound was compared to that on the body of last night's victim by her infirmary, they appeared to match perfectly.
Do you think Celeste is an assassin, though? She's very cunning. I'm not gonna lie about that. She's very cunning. So it's possible she could be, but I feel like it's planted on her. It's not really her doing, it's someone else's.
They said she must have killed him in a fit of rage for failing to assassinate his target, and fainted after fleeing the scene.
The hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. I turn towards Celeste, who desperately shakes her head. Her target? You were the one who ordered me killed?
It's not like that. You have to believe me. I don't know what happened. I was in my room when someone knocked on the door, and when I opened it, they hit me. I couldn't even see who it was.
Oh my god, apparently no one can see anyone. Even Emily didn't even know who kidnapped the daughter, so this is all weird.
It is true we found a bruise on her, but it is entirely possible it was something she incurred from struggling with the victim, and it failed to fully incapacitate her.
Linnaeus frowns, tapping his forearm with one finger.
While much of this may seem circumstantial, it is the only evidence we have. And His Majesty would be most concerned if we told him we failed to catch a murderer at his prestigious celebration.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be bad. Celeste squirms and growls in frustration, glowering intensely at Linnaeus. Small as she is, the guards around her seem to rather nervous. Yeesh.
I tell you, I didn't do it. You believe me, right, Rivian? There's no way I could kill anyone.
I don't think she did it, but she might have told someone else to do it. Like that freaking nervous boy. Maybe he's the assassin. I don't freaking know. But, I feel like Celeste is not to be trusted fully. I feel it. You can't trust her. Although her expression is fierce, I can sense an undercurrent of panic in her voice. I can't tell if it's because she's being unjustly accused, or if she actually did it.
I know who's behind this all. Papa told me. It's those disciples.
Okay, you know about the cult? She anxiously nods her head, her eyes narrowing.
They've been working against Papa's efforts for a long time. We're going to catch them here. I know, it's them.
Linnaeus clears his throat, pushing up his glasses and shaking his head slightly.
It's true the cult is the prime suspect behind Hazel's kidnapping, but Varrison's would-be assassin is another matter. If his investigation into the girl's disappearance conflicted with your and your father's own efforts to catch the cult, it would prove troublesome.
Celeste.
Arden's finger curls into a fist at his side, and I can see him searching Celeste for any signal of guilt. Arden, please don't jump! I know you want to defend our honor and everything, but don't do anything. Unsure of what to think, I pause, studying the girl myself. Can I really let it end here? No. She could be lying, but if we don't help her, we may not find Hazel until it's too late. Whether Celeste is innocent or not, I won't rest until Hazel's found. Oh, Rivian. He doesn't care about him. If he dies, he cares about the little girl. Celeste, if we want to prove you're innocent, where will we look for evidence? Evidence that someone else wanted me dead and wanted to keep the truth from getting out, even if it meant murdering their accomplice and framing you. Celeste hesitates, chewing on her lower lip, fidgeting in her seat.
All I know is that sword wasn't mine. It had to belong to someone allowed to carry weaponry. Like guards, or those staying outside the castle.
She's right. Even the nobility weren't allowed to bring weapons into the castle.
Okay. Arden chimes in to agree with Celeste, placing a hand protectively on the sword hanging on his own belt. Ah. I probably should keep quiet about the dagger that I've got hidden in my bag, then oops. Then, Linnaeus, will you give us until the end of the day to search? If we can't find anything then, I consent her to being taken away and indicated. When I turn to Linnaeus, the Inquisitor gives me a doubtful look, his elegant brow rising. However, I believe that he too suspects something else is behind the case.
Very well.
Okay, good.
She will
He has
be
a
kept
brain,
here
obviously,
until
so...
However, you are not allowed to discuss anything related to the murder outside of this room.
Okay. Understood. No point in wasting time then. Let's go, Arden. I motioned for Arden to follow me and start heading towards the door.
Wait.
What? When I look back over my shoulder, I see Celeste watching me with concern in her eyes.
Rivian, Arden, be careful. Whoever did this, I know they took Hazel too. And if you were one of their targets before, they're still coming.
No shit!
Don't worry about him. No one will touch Rivian while I still
Oh
live.
god. Arden, please don't lose yourself. A surprisingly calm voice comes from my side, and I glance over to see Arden's meeting Celeste's gaze coolly. In his eyes is a faint glimmer of the same look I saw last night. Purely frigid, single-minded intent.
Right.
Oh dear. Even Celeste seems taken aback, paling slightly from being the subject of the gaze. Yes, we'll be fine. We're grown men and all that. Come on already, Arden. I grasp at his hand and tug him out of the door, feeling everyone stare as we hurry into the hall. Don't say things like that when we're around other people. I don't think they understand you as well as I do.
What? But I was just...
Just like, tone it down a few notches, Arden. You don't have to be that intense. The wide gaze that flickers over me immediately softens into a look of confusion. I sigh impatiently. Never mind. We have to look for some kind of suspect. Someone who could carry around a blade.
Right. I know. The games are going on outside. I bet most people are gathered around there right now.
The games, huh? After you. With a determined glance shared between us, Arden and I make our way down the corridor into the main hall's upper floor. I can tell from the bustling noise streaming through the windows along with the sunlight that the festival is resumed in full force. Outside, the shops and cellars set up once more. However, they're not the most prominent feature any longer. Instead, a large portion of the crowd is surrounding a large sandpit condoned off ropes.
I think they're dueling right now. Fencing was supposed to be one of the tournaments for yesterday and today.
It's weird that Arden can, just switch his, I don't want to say persona, but all of a sudden his mood. You understand what I mean? It's a little bit worrying, because I understand that Arden is a very passionate person, but that can be very dangerous. I feel an excited Arden as he pushes through the crowd, leading us up right to the edge of the barrier. Two men engage in frantic dual dart, back and forth, swiping at each other, their feet almost blur with their rapid movements. Fencing. Oh, that you mentioned you did. Didn't the assassin carry a rapier like that? Arden inhales sharply, throwing me a pointed glance.
You think he might have been a participant in the fencing?
It's possible. That'd explain why he had a sword, and why his aim to throw knives was a bit in practice. One of the fencers suddenly loses his balance. A moment later, the other man's sword is pointed at his throat. The crowd erupts into cheering, and the victorious fencer lifts his fist in the air triumphantly. So much for fencing being a gentlemanly sport. He didn't even help the poor fellow back on his feet. The fencer exits the ring, and a crier calls out the announcement.
Next, we have two famed brawlers in brutal combat for your entertainment. I introduce to you his
Saber.
favorite, Saber.
He's the favorite.
And his opponent, Claw.
Okay.
Their names are really something else, aren't they?
Wait, Saber? Didn't we meet him yesterday? One of the hulking shapes of men enter the arena. One is definitely familiar. Saber seems to notice Arden and I in the crowd because he throws us a wave and a wide, beastly grin. The other man isn't exactly small, but I feel rather sorry for him. I wouldn't want to be Saber's opponent, that's for certain.
The announcer said he was the king's favorite. He must really brawl
I guess
well.
so. At the loud signal of the drum, the two beefy fighters suddenly charge at each other. Their powerful punches are slow, but probably enough to knock a normal man's head off clean. The cheering crowd around me grows louder, unusually loud for a gathering of nobles. But when I look around, I notice a lot of vendors and commoners gathered as well. Seems like this kind of thing draws quite in the crowd, eh? I nudge Arden, but he seems just enraptured in fighting as all the rest. Suddenly, one of Saber's powerful blows connects to the opponent's cheek. When the man stumbles back, Saber swings out a well-paced punch to the other side of his face.
Wow.
Yikes. Saber's unfortunate opponent goes flying, slamming back against the ground. I have to admit, as brutal as it is, that kind of strength makes it truly awesome to speculate. Arden and I stay to watch Saber's next few fights, which he seems to breeze through without any difficulty. I keep my eyes peeled in the meanwhile for any spectators carrying weapons, and make sure to scrutinize every fencer who goes by. It's hard keeping watch on everything with so many people around, though the constant cheers are rather distracting. I imagine it would be difficult to spot like someone odd in the crowd. The brawling matches finally end, however, the most of the crowd disperse another arena to watch the upcoming jousting. Contemplating if we should go after them, I start to tug Arden away from the ring.
Oi! Where's my congratulations?
Hi, Saber! A booming voice suddenly sounds from behind us, and I hastily stroll around to see the sweaty champion standing there, beaming. Saber! You certainly put on quite a show. It's no wonder you carry such high reputation. All the more eager to stay on his good side after witnessing that spectacle, I offer him a slightly nervous grin.
Yeah, bloody right you are. Best out of all the damn amateurs gathered here. I was looking forward to seeing one of the prancers, though. Seems he wasn't here today.
What?
Prancers? One of the fencers, you mean?
Oh, hello! Saber nods vehemently, slinging droplets of sweat uncomfortably close to me.
I ain't fond of most of them prancers, but he were good, that one was. Strange how he disappeared like that.
Huh. With Saber's words, I feel significantly convinced. That assassin from last night was a trained fencer, probably not a real assassin. Why then? Why was he hired in the first place? If only I had some kind of plausible answer. Either way, I suppose it's a clue to start with. Perhaps we should go investigate now rather than wasting any more time here? Ooh! I know we could talk to Saber, he's all good, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but we should go investigate because we're getting closer to finding out what the hell is going on, so let's go. I doubt Saber has much more to say. It's probably better for us to excuse ourselves here and get on with our investigation. Arden, it's about time we head off, isn't it? Congratulations again on your victory, though, Saber. I offer him a cheery smile, to which he nods his head with a rough chuckle.
Well, if you find anyone who needs a solid beating, make sure to let Saber know. You silly people.
Hey, we need a bodyguard. We could just call Saber. Right. Mercy on their souls if we do, eh? I wave at Saber's departing back, wiping the small beads of perspiration off my brow afterwards. Whether it's his or mine, I'm not entirely sure. Beside me, Arden seems unusually tense, his eyes faintly narrowed as they follow the mountainous man. Something the matter? Was it because he touched my shoulder? His fingers squeeze around the pommel of his sword at his hip for a moment, but then his arm returns to relax his side.
It's nothing. He just puts me a bit on edge, that's all.
Okay. Well, when faced with individuals twice one's size, I think it's a common reaction. Anyway, I have an idea. Why don't we go see if we can sneak into the quarters of the game's participants? If the fencer was staying there, maybe he left some valuable clue behind? To my surprise, rather than eagerly agreeing my words, Arden hesitates, giving me somewhat a doubtful look. Oh, that's right. You're a man sworn to uphold the law, aren't you? A slow grin spreads over my face and I lean towards the increasingly wide-eyed Arden. But what if you wanted to coerce into trespassing? You know, forced to do it under a moment of duress? Come on, Arden! He swallows as I curl my fingers with his own, provocatively raising my eyebrows.
Well, I could probably turn a blind eye for a little while.
This is so bad. A little while is all I need. Rather inordinately pleased, I turn and gently tug his hand along while skirting the arena's barrier. I feel more guilty about teasing Arden if he didn't seem to enjoy it so much. Besides, everyone needs to feel like an irresistible vixen now and then. When we duck into the participants' quarter, we find them surprisingly empty with only a few men still inside. Most of them are probably enjoying the festival, although I also spot a few Saber's unfortunate opponents lying on the bedrolls groaning. No one seems to notice as we shift towards the fencers area, which stands out due to the amount of equipment and blades lying around. Arden and I glance at each other and exchange nods, at an unspoken agreement to search separate sides of the room. After at this time, we somehow still know each other well enough to match our thoughts now and then. It's hard to figure out which cot was the assassin's, so I'll check all of the ones that aren't piled high with gear. But nothing in particular stands out at this point. I almost wonder if he was still staying here. Probably not, maybe? Damn. Sighing, I sit down on one of the vacant cots. Something flutters down to my feet. A piece of paper? It looks like something torn out of a book or a journal. Let's see. Day 2, stupid girl. I think she's onto us. Keep running into crowded places.
Riv, did you find
Are
something?
they talking about Celeste? Arden rushes over, probably noticing the stunned expression on my face as I comb through the torn paper. Not being paid enough for this, it'll be both our heads if we get found out. No, worse, considering who we got. Besides, she's...
Because she's what?
I stare where the words are interrupted by the paper's jagged edge for a long moment, then crumple it into frustration. So the assassin was here then. If this journal page is his, he must have tried to rip it up before someone found out. Or maybe someone else did? Whoever was working with him. Arden, there's something we don't know about Hazel. I have a very bad feeling about this. So close. I'm sure it's somehow related to whatever Emily won't tell me. Not even Celeste must know, since her life is on the line, and she didn't mention anything. Oh yeah, I forgot about Emily.
The note. We just have to convince her to trust us. And maybe she can explain whatever he means by who we've got.
Yeah, right. Still feeling hopelessly frustrated, I take Arden's hand to pull myself back up, clutching the note in my other hand. I follow him listlessly back to the entrance, racking my brain for any kind of answer, any common thread. Arden curls an arm around my slumped shoulder and pulls me against his side, probably noticing my glum expression.
No, Riv, I really... what's that over there?
What? My gaze slowly drifts over to where Arden's finger points to, just outside the exit of the fighter's quarters. A peacock? Well, it's not that strange, considering there was an exotic animal display at the festival.
It's got something shiny in its beak. I didn't know peacocks liked shiny things. Wait a moment. Isn't that...
What? Oh, the key! What the fuck? Look at Rivian's face. My body reacts in a split second. I push off Arden and just sprint towards the peacock.
Riv, wait for me!
The plummet bird holds a silver key in its beak. Come here, you feathery bastard! The bird, seeing two fully grown men running towards it at top speed, starts legging it in the opposite direction. We race after around the festival stalls, drawing no shortage of mystified onlookers.
Riv, you're sure it has the right key?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
Caught in a wild peacock chase.
Shut up! Shut up and catch it already, you fool! Panting, I glare at Arden, who barely seems out of breath. Stupid idiot with his bloody endurance and one-liners. Suddenly, the bird takes off in flutter, flying up into the land on top of the closest hut. Damn it! We come to a halt in front of the hut, and I bang my palm impatiently on the thin wooden wall. Get down here, I swear to the gods, I'm
not sure that'll work, Riv. It's like you're yelling at a kid to come out of his room.
I turn towards Arden, arching my brow at him evilly. Is that so? How about you climb up there and get it down then, since obviously you're quite the master of the peacock seduction techniques. He turns his gaze up to the hut's roof, where I glimpse at the tail feathers of a distinctly flamboyant creature. Come on, do your work, Arden. Well, go on, To my surprise, Arden unhesitantly jumps towards the roof edge, somehow high enough to grab onto it. Oh, okay. He grunts softly, pulling himself up to grip with his other hand, then gracefully lifts his body onto the roof, disappearing from sight. What a damn show-off. I suppose a member of the Royal Guard should be able to climb a few roofs, but still, that was a ridiculously powerful jump. Come on, you were asking for it! The old Arden would have whined and asked me to give him a leg up, but probably fallen back down like a clumsy bastard. Was. Rather abruptly, a soft hiss of pain emanates from above. Arden? Everything alright up there? You're not trying to actually seduce the peacock, right? There are a few disturbing moments of silence, but then the gutter rattled with movement. Then Arden's face suddenly peers down at me from above, his arm hanging over the roof side.
The peacock bit me, Riv. I was just trying to make friends with it.
Aww. The hell with the damn peacock! Give me the key already! He does something small and glinty towards me, and I manage to catch it in my palms. It's the same size and shape from the key of yesterday. No doubt it's the same one. Arden jumps down from the roof and lands the crutch beside me. Then he straightens up to peer at the key in my hands.
If it's really the key to where Hazel's being kept, and the man who had it was killed yesterday, does that mean she's trapped there alone?
God, I hope not. Well, I mean, oh my god, like, in a sense, like, I hope she's not alone, but in the same way, I hope she is, so that no creepy dude is, like, with her. My finger curls tightly around the cold metal at Arden's words. Possible, but... You remember the journal page, right? He said us. The other kidnapper can't have left her alone if she's so important.
Then, does that mean there's another key?
Not sure, but I wager the accomplice is a duplicate. Judging from Arden's worried expression, I figure he's thinking the same thing I am. We're likely to face an unpleasant greeting when we reach Hazel's location.
When we find the place this key unlocks, I'm not sure you should go.
Why, you think I can't fight? Well, I mean, that's true, but... What? Arden's hand grips the pommel of his sword on his belt tightly, his knuckles turning white.
I can rescue Hazel without putting you in danger too. I'll get other guardsmen to come with me if necessary.
I bite my lip, wanting to call him ridiculous for thinking I wouldn't come along, but... It's difficult to make a case out of anything else other than stubbornness. What about you? Just because you have a sword doesn't mean you'd be safe against traps or an ambush. If you're going, then you're taking your fellow guardsmen with you.
You worried about me? You know, I'm not a rookie to dangerous situations.
Of course he's worried about you. A roguish grin spreads on Arden's face as he steps a little closer to me.
But if it makes you feel better, Riv, I won't go alone. Since you care enough to worry about me, after all.
Although his words are innocently teasing, his breathy voice makes him sound a little more suggestive. Oh my, okay. The strange aggressiveness that comes over him sometimes still catches me off guard. He's like a whole different Arden when he corners me like this. It's not that. It would just be stupid to go something like that alone. I'm not one for a senseless loss of human life, you know. Arden chuckles, his boyish features charmingly lighting up. Then his eyes sparkle down at me, full of mischief, and he lifts his hand to cup a glove palm against my cheek.
Riv, when we get Hazel back, and she's safe and sound, will you promise me another kiss?
Ah! Okay. Yes!
And maybe then, things can be like how they were. Back when all you wanted was my attention. Remember?
Oh my god. Man, he must have really hurt Rivian if he's so, like, he's such an because honestly, Rivian is such an asshole to Arden, like, but he must have done something really bad to make him not trust him completely and not want his attention anymore. I knew he was going to bring it up sooner or later. Damn it, why can't you just let the past stay where it belongs? Despite my self-control so far, I feel my face heating up, and suppressed anger rising to the surface. That was before you left without saying a word. Back when I trusted you. We promised to do everything together, but you couldn't tell me that you were leaving. Arden stiffens, a guilty look slowly spreading across his face, eyes flickering to one side. We said we'd rise to the top side by side, and yet you left me with half of that dream without any hope of getting you back. And now, 4 years later, you think you can just be the way they were. I thought you knew me well enough, Arden, to remember how long I hold a grudge.
Riv, you don't understand. There's a reason why...
Listen, your excuse can wait. It's not like they'll change anything anyway. Ooh. I cut Arden off sharply, shaking my head in an attempt to control my bitter emotions rising within me. I don't know how about you. I promised Emily I wouldn't rest until I found her daughter, and I don't have time to waste on useless memories. I turn away before I can see the pain expression in his eyes, a pleading gaze which followed me with... A weight tugs uncomfortably in my chest, one that mirrors the way I felt long ago. If we had met here for the first time, maybe it would have been different. Maybe I would have drawn to him without strings of the past attached. Going back to the castle, do as you see fit. Oh no, Arden! Oh, damn it! Clutching the key in my hand, I head through the streets, forcing myself not to look back. The sound of footsteps doesn't follow me. Figures. Arden never did well with emotions, soft-hearted like he is. But damn it, I wish he'd run after me just this once. Don't let go of what you love when it's still in your grasp. He has a luxury that I didn't. Damn, that's the way that Rivian wants Arden to prove that he cares about him. Not by killing some dude, like showing them that he's staying. God damn it. We passed the crowds, feeling a little like a lost child, without much of idea what I was even going to do when I returned to the castle. The key I now have is still useless until I know where it goes. When I head inside into the main hall, it's mostly empty, save for a few idle guests. However, I spot Silas with a duster in hand, cleaning out the grandfather clock in the corner. Maybe Emily didn't know about the silver key, but there's a chance Silas might. As I walk over to him, the butler turns to face me, his eyebrows rising for a moment before he lowers a slight bow.
Sir, is there some way I might be of assistance? You look somewhat disheartened.
Oh, he's fine.
If I may say so.
Perceptive, aren't you? I was wondering if you knew anything about a key, actually. His head tilts slightly at the question, and I extend my hand to show him the silver key in my palm.
Why, yes, I am familiar with that key, sir.
Okay, I'm still suspicious of Silas, I'm just letting you guys know. Well, what door does it unlock? Please, I must know. Silas purses lips, looking at me quizzically.
I am not sure why such a matter is so urgent, sir. That is merely the key to the old storage room out in the gardens.
Oh!
It was one of the first places searched by the guards after Hazel's disappearance. If your concern is related to her whereabouts, I am afraid there is little possibility of a connection.
That makes no sense. If they went in there to look, maybe there's like a hidden door or something in there. My heart's slowly sinking. I bit my lip and squeezed the key in my palm. Could you at least show me where it is? I'd greatly appreciate it, Silas. The butler eyes me curiously, an unreadable expression on his face as he seems to consider my request for a moment.
Well, the guards have recently instructed us not to let guests wander past the gardens after last night's incident. However, I believe I can give you special treatment due to your acquaintance with the royal guardsman. Ah, where is Sir Arden?
It's not like he's heartbroken in the alleyway or anything. I'm sure he's fine. My chest tightens at those words, but I force myself not to show my emotion, and instead clear my throat pointedly. He's, just running a bit behind. I'm sure he'll be able to catch up. Shall we go ahead? Regardless of whether Silas accepts my words or sees through my mask, he simply nods in response, turning towards the garden's exit.
This way, sir. Might I ask where you acquired that key, incidentally?
He's so suspicious, I don't like it. As we head outside, I hesitate before my response, considering how much I should tell Silas. I don't suspect him, but I don't exactly trust him either. Well, let's just say I got it from someone who believes I was involved with Hazel's kidnapping. There was a slight interference of a peacock, but that's irrelevant. Silas just nods, and impassively polite as a servant can be to a man talking about peacocks. What a fine specimen of a butler. He leads me through the garden as we emerge from the side of the hedge maze. I spot a small shack-like structure ahead of us. We approach it, and I can see a sturdy-looking door are sealed with a padlock. I wonder how the guards searched it? The door doesn't look like it's been forced open, so there must have been another key. Oh, right. When Silas turns to me expectantly, I quickly step up to the padlock and insert the silver key. Sure enough, it clicks open, allowing me to separate the chains. I grab the handles and try to drag the door back, grunting at the surprisingly hefty weight. What the hell are they keeping in here that needs the damn doors for?
Let me assist you with that, sir.
Okay. Silas reaches over and grabs the door with his gloved hand, pulling them open with a relative ease. God save me, outdone by a butler, and he doesn't look like that muscular. What? So wait, okay, I'm not saying it's not possible that a butler can be like fit as fuck, but I mean, like, isn't it kind of odd considering he's a butler? It's just weird. I don't know, I feel like it's weird. Ahem, I had it under control, you know, but I appreciate the help. So, what's inside? I step a little anxiously over the dark threshold and into the storage building, scanning around. Silas follows behind me. I hear him sigh faintly.
I believe our current reigning king has not used this quaint room. Some unpleasant rumors related to supernatural events arose in conjunction
ghosts.
with it, and our honorable queen forbade her husband from ever storing anything here.
Supernatural events? That sound horrible. What kind of events were these, perchance? My eyes drift around the room, where everything is covered with a thick layer of dust. There's plenty of aged-looking equipment, like saddles and hunting gear lying around the floor and on shelves. But no ghosts milling around, at least.
I'm afraid I cannot remember precise details, but there were said to be voices that the servants of the past heard while working near here at night.
Sweet, either it's ghosts or demons, I love it.
You see, there are tales that this castle was built on the remains of a much older counterpart. It is said that a chapel and tomb for the royal family were located near the storage chamber. Therefore, these voices are supposedly of the deceased regal bloodline.
Oh, so they built it on top of a graveyard. Yeah, that's not really a good idea if you're planning to build things. Despite his disapproving tone, there's a brief, unusually hesitant pause in Silas's words, although his expression barely changes. Voices. What a load of rubbish. It's a perfectly fine storage room. And if they neglect it because of that? My cheerful scoff trails off when I remember that, if there's nothing here, it's a dead end. All my excitement about this key was for nothing? I can't believe it. Silas, what would you do in a situation where you are completely stuck, nothing made sense, and your one source of information is refusing to tell you something important? Sighing, I turn to the butler, who smiles faintly at the dejected words.
That sounds like a dreadful situation indeed, sir. Well, if I were trying to discover the truth behind something that appeared to have no answers, I suppose I would rethink what puzzled me from another perspective. Destroy the cage of assumptions that I had built, so to speak.
Okay. He pauses, his smile widening into a more cryptic one, eyes glimmering at me.
If a single element in the larger picture refuses to fit with everything else, then somewhere in the larger scheme of things is a lie.
I stare at Silas, who gazes coolly back at me. I'm sure of it now. He knows something too, but he can't tell me. Damn it. Is there anyone who isn't keeping secrets in this bloody castle? A lie. Perhaps you're right. After all, I've been going off only conjecture and heresy. There's bound to be fault in there somewhere.
Precisely, sir. I am sure a patient re-evaluation will yield satisfactory results.
Yeah, or we're too late.
There are still a few hours before this evening's dinner, so perhaps you may utilize that time to further your search, if you so wish. Now, please excuse me, sir. I must return to my duties.
Okay. Silas lowers into a graceful bow, rising back off and offering me a last quite playful smile before turning to depart towards the castle. I watch him leave, rubbing a hand on the back of his neck in thought. My eyes gradually lower to the key still in my hand, its cool weight resting in my palm. Nothing more than a storage shack haunted by a deceased royal family, huh? How disappointing. Close the door and start to lock them back up, shaking my head. The hell's that? Was that a noise I just heard? God save me, Rivian, you're already losing your gall from the talk of ghosts? Just a mop or something falling inside the shed. Ugh. Scoffing to myself, I shove the key into the padlock and start heading back to the castle. For some reason I can't quite explain, I feel like Silas' description of the storage chamber doesn't add up. Namely, why would the key to this place be lying around if no one ever used it? Besides, I found it near where the assassin was staying. It has to be related to Hazel somehow. Okay guys, I'm gonna end the episode right here. Once again, don't really trust Silas because, like, him, Emily, and Celeste are the three that I don't fully trust. I trust at least the most Emily because she's the mother of the kid, but, like, they're all hiding something and they don't want to say it. And I don't get, like, why wouldn't you want to say it when your daughter's life is involved with this, you know? It doesn't make any sense. And then the way Rivian has a point. Silas is just like, oh yeah, no one uses the storage room, then why the fuck do you still have the key lying around? It doesn't make any sense. And then I'm sad for Arden and Rivian. So Arden left Rivian without telling him, and we still don't know why. I'm hoping we'll find out by the end of it, but I'm pretty sure we're near the end now, getting close to it. Hopefully no one I like dies, and hopefully Rivian and Arden can, you know, clear the air of what happened to them 4 years ago. Anyway, thank you once again to Argent Games for sending me a Steam key, and if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to join the companions. And if you would like to help support the channel on Patreon, the link is in the description, or you can support the channel for free with gawkbox.com/AGirlAndAGame. All you have to do is make an account, open it up on your mobile, download the games, play them, and then you donate real money to the channel, which will help me continue this series and the channel overall. Please let me know in the comments what you guys thought, and if you trust Silas or not. Who do you think is lying here? Out of the three people I mentioned, Emily, Celeste, or Silas? My money's on Silas still because he's acting the weirdest, so that's who I'm betting on. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! What? Why is kiss an option? Excuse me. You get allies to the main characters. These powerful beasts are known as summons. They are extraordinary beings that can be called into battle by their summoner. They are also depicted as